Everyone, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Olauloa Neighborhood Board for May 8th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have, just for everyone's reference, all of our meeting materials today will be found online in our Google Drive. You can go to the Google Olauloa Neighborhood Board and you can have access to that. Let me just go over the rules of speaking really quick. To ensure the maximum opportunity for all attendees to be heard, the following guidelines will apply. Those joining the meeting are reminded to mute their microphone. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to type their question into the chat box or raise their hand using the raise hand function in the online meeting platform, which is indicated by a hand, or unmute yourself at the appropriate time as indicated by the chair. If accessing this meeting using your phone and you have a comment, indicate this by pressing the symbol *9. This will show the chair that the person calling from the number wishes to speak. To unmute your phone, press *6. Please wait until recognized by the chair to begin. All comments, concerns, or questions shall be 2 minutes or less. To all attendees, the opportunity to hear to help all attendees have the opportunity to hear presentations and comments, please place your device on mute until you would like to speak. And when you are recognized by the chair, mute yourself and make your comments. Note, the board may take any action on this agenda item as required by the state sunshine law, HRS 92. Specific issues not noted on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda. A 2/3 vote, 6 of this 11-member board is needed to add an item to the agenda. Items may not be added if they are of major importance and will affect a significant number of people. We've already been called to order. We will start with our monthly reports. We have Honolulu Fire Department. Please come up and please proceed with your report.
Hello, I'm firefighter Chris Carvalho from the Haula Fire Station. The statistics provided below are going to represent confirmed number of incidents in the neighborhood board for our geographical area. For more details on these incidents and related mapping information, please visit our fire response map on our HFD website at fire.honolulu.gov under the News and Info tab. And should you have any other questions, please email the HFD Public Affairs and Media Liaison at hfdnhb@honolulu.gov. I think from a previous meeting, there were some questions that needed to be answered. So we got some answers. The first question was related to the motor vehicle collisions involving pedestrians. I believe it was in the Punaluu area, and our statistics had it rated at not having happened. But through the investigation, I guess it shows that there was a pedestrian accident at 53-444 Cam Highway involved a minor and a vehicle. The HFD determined that the incident report for that specific incident was improperly coded, which is why it was not among the stats. We'll do a better job at reporting accurate information on our reports. And then second question was, a resident of the Kahuku elderly Haole asked if the fire department could help them prepare for a fire, referring to their community as a fire trap. The Honolulu Fire Department provides fire and life safety and evacuation planning presentations to the community. You could visit our official website at fire.honolulu.gov and go to the request tab. To complete and submit a request for information form online at least 4 weeks prior to your targeted date. You can also contact our HFD Community Relations Education section directly at 808-723-7168. Yes, it's 808-723-7168. And a third question, a resident via Zoom asked about the ocean and mountain rescues reported, specifically whether those involved were locals, tourists, military personnel, or students. Our records indicate that 3 of the 3 mountain rescues, 2 of them involved residents and the other involved a visitor. And there was 1 ocean rescue involved 2 residents. Our incident statistics for April of 2025 regarding fires, we had 1 structure fire, 0 wildland brush fires, 3 nuisance fires, 1 cooking fire, and 3 activated alarms with no fire. Other emergencies, we had 41 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle crash collision, 1 mountain rescue, and that was all of our calls for that month. Our fire safety tip is regarding fire sprinklers. They serve as a first line of defense against fires and often extinguish the home before the fire department arrives. For more information, visit homefiresprinkler.org. Fire spreads quickly. A fire can turn deadly in under 2 minutes. Synthetic materials burn quickly and release deadly poisonous smoke. High-risk individuals in home fires include small children, elderly adults, those with disabilities, and pets. Fire sprinklers protect your home and family and activate automatically to control the fire, thereby giving everyone a chance to escape. The best protection is having working smoke alarms, fire sprinklers, and a practice fire escape plan. Information about Honolulu ordinances relating to fire safety is available at fire.honolulu.gov. And that is all for you.
Perfect. Questions from board members? In person? Okay, we'll go to members of the public here in person. Any questions or comments for Honolulu Fire Department? Okay, we'll go online. Casey Connors, I see your hand up. Please proceed with your questions or comments.
Yes, we heard that there was somebody working in Laie that was badly burned. Are you able to comment on that or know what happened?
I don't have the specifics on that incident right now. We can look into it and get a response back to you for next month. And this is in Laie, you said?
Yeah, that's what we've heard, and we just to know that was a work-related incident and what happened. If the person, we're praying that they're all right, if it's true. Thank you. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Any questions or comments from members of the public online? All right, hearing and seeing none, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you next month. Move forward in our agenda, HPD. Do I have anyone from HPD here in person or online? Okay, I don't see, so we'll just move on in the agenda to the United States Army. We received quite a bunch of emails, I believe, from them. Anyone here in person or online from the U.S. Army? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move forward in our agenda. To government reports, Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, Kat, I believe you're online. Please proceed.
I'm here. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to start with the highlights from Mayor's newsletter. There are 5, and then I'll drop a link to the Mayor's newsletter in the chat. First, city and state leaders recruit more guardians ad litem to help with assisted community treatment programs for Oahu's homeless community. Second, Mayor Blangiardi signs bills into law on Waikiki street festivals, outdoor dining rules. Third, recreational fishing returned to the world-famous Ho'omaluhia Botanical Garden. Fourth, city leaders unveil a massive new solar canopy at the Blaisdell Center to celebrate Earth Day in Honolulu. And 5, details on the first Malama Aina Day at Kalaio Kanaoa, which is also known as Kahuku Point, on Oahu's North Shore. So I'll drop a link to the May 2025 edition of the Mayor's newsletter. An update from the neighborhood board. Voting for the 2025 to 2027 neighborhood board elections. Voting runs from April 25 to May 16th. These board members will serve from July 2025 until June 2027. Voters should receive a mailer containing a passcode and PIN allowing you to vote online, and I'll drop the link in the chat. And in-person voting is also available at the Neighborhood Commission office, and I'll drop the address in the chat. Paper ballots may be requested by emailing nco@honolulu.gov or calling 808-768-3710 Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4 p.m. Voters will need their passcode, PIN, and date of birth to verify their identity when requesting a paper ballot. Paper ballots must be postmarked by May 16th and arrive at NCO by May 23 to be counted. The final results will be published by June 2nd. Please note that residents will not receive mailers if their sub-district is uncontested or if they did not vote in the general election. The following races are contested for Neighborhood Board number 28, olauloa, Sub-District 1, Sub-District 2, and Sub-District 5. I will drop all of that information into the chat so you have the numbers and the addresses that I mentioned. The third update, get ready to register for a summer of fun and classes at city parks and gardens. From Keiki to Kupuna, Waianae to Waimanalo, a season full of amazing recreation and educational opportunities is available to you at your city parks and gardens. Registration for Summer Fun 2025 will begin May 12 through May 16, with enrichment class signups from May 15 to May 19 based on where your program is located. Enrollment in summer fun and enrichment classes will be primarily conducted online through the activities section of the Parks and Rec online system, pros.hnl.info, though walk-in accommodations are available. The 2025 Summer Fun sites and which ones offer Summer Fun, Summer Plus are indicated on the interactive Summer Fun map, and I will drop a link in the chat. For those of you who are looking for a fun part-time job this summer, this popular program still needs plenty of motivated workers to enrich our keiki with positive and empowering activities. For more information and to apply online, I will drop a link in the chat. Finally, not sure which park district in which your program is located, use our interactive map to find the park location near you, which district it is located in, and how to contact park staff. So again, I will drop all of that into the chat. I have a couple departmental questions from last week. I will read them and then I will read the response. The first question was about Turtle Bay and why an updated environmental statement isn't required. DPP responds that per the Hawaii administrative rules, no supplemental EIS is required. I will drop that link, or excuse me, the citation and the quote into the chat so that you have it for future purposes. DPP sums it up saying that they have determined that no new EIS is required as there's no substantial change to the current project from the proposal in the 2013 EIS. The second update is also relating to Turtle Bay. Is there any public information that the residents can have access to? DPP provided that project information from Arete is available online at a link, and there are two links from the DPP website. I will drop both of those into the chat so that everyone has access to it. The third was to DPP requesting a representative, but DPP reports, unfortunately, a representative from DPP is unable to attend this meeting. The fourth was a question regarding a proposed marketplace near the Kahuku Sugar Mill, and just seeking more information. DPP requested an address or a TMK so that they can provide a more specific response. The fifth is about how many vacation rentals have been shut down in the olauloa area and how many illegal vacation rental fines were assessed and collected. DPP reports that as of January 1, 2023, the Short-Term Rental Enforcement Branch issued 385 notices of violation for short-term rentals in the Olauloa area. Any attempt to determine the exact number of vacation rentals that have been shut down as a result of our efforts would be an estimate and not entirely accurate. It would not be logistically feasible to track down every cited property and conduct daily inspections to confirm whether they have ceased operations. DPP reports that there are 214 notice of orders created for the Olauloa area. DPP is unable to provide the exact amount in collection since the collection process is constantly ongoing. The next question was about how soon will tsunami evacuation maps be updated due to sea level rise? The Department of Emergency Management reports, DEM works closely with the scientific community to determine when new studies or models are needed to update our understanding of tsunamis, including evacuation zones. In particular, DEM relies on NOAA's Pacific Tsunami Warning Center and an advisory group organized by HAIMA, the state's emergency management agency, called the Hawaii Earthquake and Tsunami Advisory Committee, HETAC. Sea level rise is recognized as a threat that could require updated tsunami evacuation modeling in the future. DEM will work with these experts, as well as with HAIMA, to initiate projects to update current modeling based on their recommendations. The projected sea level rise that would require reevaluation of current evacuation zones is still a decade or more away. Finally, the last departmental update. Are tourists included in the population for the tsunami evacuation zone statistics or the emergency evacuation counts? And how are tourists living in illegal vacation rentals to know where to evacuate during a tsunami? DEM reports. DEM considers the visitor population and planning we do across all hazards in terms of immediate response needs. For example, in things like evacuation planning or estimating shelter demand, we include the visitor population. We consider the resident population plus the average daily census of visitors on island. In general, this increases the total population by about 10 to 11%. That is the conclusion of the departmental questions and responses. I'm happy to take any additional questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions from board members in person?
Hi, this is Lorraine. My question is there any discussion at all about the feasibility of allowing some vacation rentals to be legal for, say, residents versus non-residents? Or, you know, we've had this discussion, we've asked the mayor about it before, and it just seems that there's kind of a, I think we're going to lose more locals than we're going to keep. And I think that you could shut down all the vacation rentals that we have in our district, and it would not solve the houseless problem or put more affordable housing on the table. So I think this is a bigger problem that needs to be discussed other than just spending so much time on short-term rentals. And that's just my comment. Mahalo.
Got it. I'll inquire with DPP to see if there's any discussion about the feasibility of allowing particularly residents to operate short-term rentals. And I'll report back next month.
They would have to live here. Sorry. They would have to live here. They would have to show that they are residents. They would have to show that they're paying taxes on the property, that they have, say, utility bills. But I would like to see a broader discussion instead of just everything being, let's report, let's violate. Mahalo.
Understood. Thank you. I will report back.
Any other questions from board members? Okay, we'll go to questions from members of the public here in person. Okay, I do have a couple of hands up here online. We'll go to Kevin Lai, and then we'll go to Casey Connors. Kevin, please proceed.
Chair, thank you very much. Ms. Tashner, thanks for your report. I did want to jump back to your comments earlier about the ongoing neighborhood board election process. I just wanted to ask if you're aware that the contested ballots in those races that you've mentioned here and across other districts have not been following the rules that are prescribed in the neighborhood plan, specifically Section 217-301B. I'm wondering if you can.
217-301B?
Correct.
Thank you.
And specifically that notes that the names should be listed in alphabetical order with the last names first. This is not the case in all of the neighborhood plan ballots that have been distributed. And there are some other concerns as well, wherein some candidates have been allowed to present themselves without a surname or a last name, which prevents the voters from being able to investigate them, do a background check, see if they own or are involved with companies that may not be in compliance. But the concern is far beyond that. I've requested of the Neighborhood Commission and the Neighborhood Commission office through the defined channels of the neighborhood plan for information about this, and also to request the specific complaint form that is election specific, and there's been no reply. It seems like this is going to turn into something where if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, then we're just going to let this slide. Now, it doesn't impact me, but it's just a matter of principle, and I urge you to find out what happened and why, and I also urge the members of Board 28 to consider a letter I'll be sending out shortly that will allow them to make a similar inquiry of the Neighborhood Commission and the Neighborhood Commission chair to find out what went wrong and if we can find a remedy for this. But I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Casey Connors, please proceed. Casey, did you have your hand up?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. Aloha. Thanks, Kat. Since it's come to light that there have assessed, the mayor's office DPP has assessed $30 million in fines against illegal vacation rentals, but only collected 1 million. And so it's just a joke. Has anything been done since to make sure that these fines are collected? I want to make sure people understand that I had 20 of my students and their families homeless. These people are not, these people are more working people. They were security guards, food service, just working people, and not so much of the middle class here that is running the illegal vacation rentals or the people from the mainland. The mayor also said there were 25,000 illegal vacation rentals, and if that's so, shouldn't the fines be more? The second thing is you have the new Department of Emergency Management head, which I'm just so excited about, Randy Collins. Is it possible if you can make sure that he knows in the 2012 tsunami warning, where we had plenty of time, we were in bumper to bumper traffic, Haula, Punaluu, and we couldn't go towards Kaneohe, we had to go the other way, and we had a lot of warning then. I'd like to know if he's going to do a carrying capacity study or an evacuation study on Cam Highway, and how high a close-in tsunami would be. I'm still asking that. And if he is included in the evacuation plan, the population expansions, the proposed for Turtle Bay, and possibly the new LIEA duplexes and multiplexes, and how that will affect the evacuation plan and carrying capacity of our side. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Is there any other questions from members of the public here online? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Thank you very much, Kat. We'll look forward to your report next month.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
You too. Okay, we'll be moving on to Councilmember Matt Wire. I believe Chelsea's online. Chelsea, please proceed.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you all. Sorry I'm not in person. Just gonna cover some of the highlights from the newsletter that I'll be sharing on our website, and I could also share with the board after this meeting is all finished. So just highlighting at the Mayor's Town Hall, we did honor and recognize Auntie Dottie. Auntie Dottie was presented a proclamation by the mayor, and it was really nice to see everybody at the last town hall. And that just happened, I want to say, last week or so. We also joined the Department of Land Management for our offices, I think first time participating in their Malama Aina Day at the conservation area at Turtle Bay Resort. And so that was a lot of fun. I went myself and learned a lot about replanting some of the native species there, and overall a really great time. Very rainy, which I understand is not really common in this area. So it was really neat. Councilmember also participated in the Kahuku Climate Action Plan meeting, and that was hosted by the Office of Climate Change Sustainability and Resiliency. I think that there are going to be a few more workshops on different parts of the island, but he did attend the one that was at Kahuku Public Library at the end of last month. And there was also a broadband digital equity community event that I had attended. This was hosted by the Office of Economic Revitalization, UH Broadband Office, and Hui o Hu'ula. And we just want to thank Auntie Dottie for hosting that and getting access for the community. So we appreciate that. Just highlighting a couple of bills. Bill 18 did pass third reading, and it was signed into law by mayor on May 2nd. This one is the restricting the sale of plastic bottles in city vending machines. So that is something that we're pretty happy about. It really just sets an example by the city of, rethinking plastic use. Next, Bill 15. Bill 15 is the cesspool bill that provides some financial relief for local families with cesspool conversions. And so this bill is expected to be up for third reading at the full council meeting that's happening next week. That one's still moving along. Bill 36 allows the mayor to access the reserve for the Fiscal Stability Fund during economic downturns, emergencies, or when unexpected events come from federal or state mandates. This bill ensures that the city can respond quickly and effectively to protect services and support residents in challenging times. So Bill 36 is expected to be up for its second reading at that next week council meeting. Lastly, Bill 29 is one that we wanted to highlight. It extends the real property tax exemption period for qualifying affordable rental units from 10 years to 15 years. This change aims to incentivize affordable housing by providing long-term tax relief to property owners who commit to keeping their rental units affordable. So our office also introduced amendments to extend the repeal date of this exemption, along with 2 other provisions that incentivize the construction of affordable rental housing to 2030, just to be consistent with the repeal date of ROH Chapter 32. So that is my updates. I understand Kat also, I think Kat and I, we kind of had some questions that were similar. So she did respond to the one about short-term rentals. And then I know there was a question around any future plans to replace blades at Kahuku Wind Farm. So we haven't heard back from them quite yet. We haven't heard back from DPP on the first question. So our office will try to reach out again to Kahuku Wind Farm to find that out for you. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions from board members here in person? Okay, questions from members of the public? Okay, we'll go to members of the public online. Casey, I see your hand up. Please proceed.
Yes, Chelsea, similar questions to Matt as to the mayor's office. Is he going to do anything or help us to be able to collect all the fines for the that are on illegal vacation rentals? Because right now, if you just give them a notice and you don't collect a fine, it's business as normal. So again and again, we have so many local working families, especially Hawaiians, that are homeless or pushed or priced out of their homes because of these illegal vacation rentals. And I'm so sad that people are saying that they need them to afford their home, but then on Facebook I see them taking nice vacations, or other people or have nice cars, and so this is a big concern when I had so many students and their families who are homeless or pushed or priced out of the area. The enrollment in Kahuku is declining. And again, the second thing is, has Matt looked at the emergency management situation and the road, as I asked Chelsea, and how crowded it was, and if we can get out, and the population increase at Turtle Bay? If he could take another look at that, I think it's dire. And I think that we'll be trapped on the road and trapped in Turtle Bay, and people will die. So I'd like him to take a second look at that. Mahalo.
Thanks, Casey.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from members of the public online? Okay, see none. Thank you very much, Chelsea. We look forward to your report next month.
Thanks, Pani.
Okay, moving on. Do we have a representative from Congresswoman Jill Tokuda online? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on in our agenda. A representative from Governor Josh Green, Director of Communications and Engagement, Office of Wellness and Resilience, Erica Yamauchi. Please proceed with your report.
Good evening, everyone. Erica Yamauchi, Office of Wellness and Resilience. I did want to draw attention to the newsletter in the back. I brought Governor Green's newsletter as well as our newsletter from the Office of Wellness and Resilience. I'll drop links to those newsletters in the chat as well. I also wanted to bring attention to Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, which is celebrated nationwide today. The theme this year in Hawaii is Empowering Keiki by encouraging supportive conversations about feelings and learning about mental health needs and warning signs. You can learn more about Keiki mental health by visiting 2 local websites, keikimentalhealthmatters.com and helpyourkeiki.com. Now to last month's questions. I have responses on both of the inquiries I received last month. I'll first read the response I received from the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, known as DBED, which also houses Hawaii Tourism Authority, known as HTA. The question was, are there any current carrying capacity, salary, or other economic studies for this area? If not, can you do? Oh, no.
Point of order, sergeant and disturbance.
So sorry for the pause online. It's a little. Are you okay, Uncle?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I did drop those 2 documents into a Google Drive, and I put that link in the chat as well. But the posted report from City and County may have the data that you're looking for. DBED also does not plan to produce a similar report. And what are their plans for higher income jobs for local rural families? So the Department of Human Resource Development, DHERD, coordinated with state and county agencies on Operation Hire Hawaii and has prioritized the recruitment of professionals and other experienced workers to address critical workforce needs across Hawaii's public sector. So information on that can be found at dherd.hawaii.gov. At this time, DBED has not yet developed a comprehensive economic plan specific to this region. However, they are in the early stages of identifying geographic and institutional assets that may serve as anchors for long-term economic development in the area. They're also connecting these assets to sectors prioritized in the economic landscape framework, which I also put in that Google Drive. And those sectors are value-added product development, such as food and non-food, film and media production, fashion and design manufacturing, and advanced manufacturing. These industries are core to the DBED diversification strategy for Oahu, while a production facility or innovation hub cannot be located in each region. All communities on island may benefit from these workforce opportunities, business linkages, and downstream job creation associated with these sectors. A critical consideration in growing these industries is the availability of infrastructure, facilities, and specialized equipment. What are you doing to stop illegal vacation rentals? This came from HTA. Hawaii Tourism Authority does not support illegal short-term vacation rentals and is working with state and county partners to ensure that accommodations operate legally, respect community well-being, and contribute to a sustainable and responsible visitor industry. That was the extent of their response. And then I do see that Department of Transportation again sent their own representative today, Mel Chung, to provide an update on the Papa'au Bridge and answer last month's questions related to the project. Mahalo, Mel, for being here. Are you able to give your update?
Okay, good evening, everybody. So I just put my update in the chat. So we have 2 questions. One is for Kaipapa Bridge. For the manholes at Kaipapa Bridge, the contractor has put in ramps to smooth out the road a little since the first week of opening of the new bridge. The manhole bumps will remain until mid-September, when the final layer of asphalt is scheduled to be laid on the road. For the emergency vehicles at Kaipapa Bridge, the contractor will prioritize the direction of travel for the emergency vehicle when they are aware of the vehicles. We have another question about the future bridge project. The next bridge project will likely be advertised in sometime 2027. That will be either be the Kailua Stream Bridge or Waipilo Stream Bridge. Depends on which project will complete design first. Yeah, this is my update this month. Thank you.
And that concludes our report from the Office of the Governor.
Perfect. Thank you. Questions from board members? Can you repeat the two bridges?
Okay, it's Kauanui Stream Bridge or Waipilo.
Yeah, Waipilo and Kalaunui.
Yeah.
Kaluanui, sorry. Kaluanui.
Yeah.
I did have a question for for Mel. Mel, we had Tesla contact us about presenting. They canceled for March and April, and they said they would let us know when they would be when they'd be ready to present on the resilient coastlines for Kamehameha Highway. So just make sure that they don't forget about us because we'd love to hear what they have in store for that.
Yeah, our director would like to talk to Representative Lisa first, and then reach out to the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions from board members?
Sorry, this is Lorraine again. What about the bridge in Laie? By Blue Land?
Okay, Laie. I can give the update next month. I will have to check with our bridge design.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's already in build. They've already
Okay.
got the dust screens up, and our question is the traffic going to be detoured, or what are the plans?
Okay, I will get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, questions from members of the public here in person? Okay, Siri, come use the microphone there. Ben's got one.
Is it on? Oh, okay. I live right where Waipilo Bridge is, and I would like to know what the design is. There was somebody from DOT here several years ago, and we've never seen anybody since then. So can we have letters sent to the people that are being impacted at it and what the design of the bridge is going to be? Because we wanted the walkway to have a cement barrier between the traffic lanes and the walkway. And I just want to be sure if that's still part of the plan. Thank you.
Thank you. I will get it. I will get at least the preliminary design. Thank you.
Aloha, Ben Schaefer. I just wanted to point out that that bridge has been going on since 2019, I believe, right? Or 2020? 2020, yeah. And actually, it's been so rough. And now even when they're finished, it's so rough. So I don't know how come they kind of just make a nice smooth one. And their contractor took so long for a short little bridge, where in China, they can build miles of bridges in no time. Yeah, and so I'm kind of disappointed with the contractor. I think we might have to look for another contractor who might be able to do a better job. I think we need to hold these people accountable to make sure that they are doing their job and they're doing efficiently, effectively, and the least amount of cost. Because as of right now, I don't think everybody's happy with what we've been seeing so far. Thank you.
Thank you. So just want to clarify, it's for Kaipapa, right? Kaipapa Bridge, right? You're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from members of the public here in person? Okay, we'll go to online. Casey Connors, I see your hand up. Please proceed.
Yeah, I apologize, Erica. Maybe I didn't speak clearly, but those were similar, but not the questions that I asked. So maybe I should also email you. I was looking for salary studies. For instance, the tourism industry in Hawaii pay is notoriously low, the entire tourist industry, but film and TV is much higher. Can you ask if I'll send you questions about that, but can you also ask if the governor does support any way for the film and TV industry or the music industry to be stronger? For right now, it's dead. And in this area, we have a lot of people with the film unions, the AATSE, the Teamsters, SAG, even food service, security. These were higher paid jobs than the service jobs with the tourism industry. And so these were also locals were moving up fast and getting top training. So will the governor revisit this and look at it? And right now, Jason Momoa's film is about to come out about Hawaii, and this is much better advertising than just giving the money to HTA. And there's also, what's the Disney one? I'm sorry, I should ask the kids. Can you tell? Okay, what's the Disney one with the little purple
Stitch.
monster? That's been oversold already. It has one of the highest rates of pre-sale for Disney, and that's another Hawaii one. So we're unclear of why they're giving so much money to HTA and not supporting our film, TV, music. I mean, why sadly Ian had to go move out, and the American Idol, and we have another young man just from up the coast, Thunderstorm Artis. He had to move off island. I mean, to improve his songwriting. When we have so much talent here, why aren't we supporting those industries? Or is the governor supporting it and we haven't found out? Or would he consider supporting it? Mahalo.
Thank you, Casey. Yeah, I can, ask more directly for the Office of the Governor. Because these questions were related to DBED and HTA. And I did ask, so the question that I asked them was around carrying capacity, salary, and other economic studies, and that's what they came back with. So I do apologize that it didn't seem to answer your question.
No,
directly.
it may have been me. And the illegal vacation rentals, why isn't the state collecting the taxes for those? Or why isn't the state going after Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com, those big companies that are making so much money, and collecting the taxes for them? That's another source of revenue. Mahalo.
Thank you. I'll take that back.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from members of the public online? All right, hearing and seeing none. Thank you very much, Erica. We look forward to seeing you next month. Moving forward in our agenda, we'll go to Senator Awa. I believe his representative Makana is here online. Makana, please proceed.
Hello, Maikako. As you may be aware, the 2025 legislation session has recently been concluded. Regrettably, two of the senators' priority bills, SB 1582, which recognizes the coconut tree as a cultural significant plant and a sustainable staple food source within the state, and SB 242, which would prohibit foreign entities from owning agricultural land, were not enacted. Nonetheless, we remain dedicated to advocating for these initiatives and will continue to seek their future consideration. Looking ahead, next month, Senator Ava, along with several other minority legislators, will be traveling to Washington, D.C. to meet with federal and national department officials regarding various issues impacting our communities, district, and state. We look forward to sharing updates on these efforts during our June meeting. Additionally, our office is working closely with several school principals to launch the Genki pilot project. Currently, this pilot is situated in Kahalu'u, within the open waterways. But our vision is to demonstrate its potential as a statewide initiative, expanding not only into open waterways, but also directly into private cesspools within individual homes. Mahalo. That's all we got for this month. Open for questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions from board members here in person? Okay, question. Oh, go ahead.
Just a quick comment. We would like to thank Senator Awa for advocating for us, Hui Olauloa, to receive a state GIA to support continuation of some of our programs in olauloa. Thank you very much.
Yes, congratulations.
Okay, any other questions from board members? Dr. Tusi right there.
Susan? Okay. First of all, I'd like to commend Senator Awa. The resiliency hub here in Haula is, much of it is fundamentally rooted in ancient wisdom. The advocacy for breadfruit, and now I understand the coconut, is part of honoring the legacy of our ancestors. It is no easy thing for people to understand how our ancestors lived on little atoll and sand spits with no rivers, streams, or lakes, because we grew our water, and that's the new. We ate food from a tree that is more resilient in terms of fruit bearing than any other in the world, because it can grow within 10 feet of the ocean, where all other plant producing food, edible foods die. You cannot replace something you buy off a shelf because it doesn't grow back. In a disaster situation where an ulu, you grow it, you pull it, or a new, it grows back. That's how our ancestors lived for centuries. To depend on imported food and water from warehouses that are at sea level, getting anything out of that area to the pua'as out into the region will be impossible. And so looking forward and honoring the legacy of our ancestors, I thank you.
Mahalo for that, Mana'o. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Other questions from board members? Comments? Okay. Board members online? See Antalina there? All right, members of the public here in person. Please proceed to the podium.
Good evening, good evening, Evelyn Lane. I want to ask you, ask the senator when he goes to Washington, if he could advocate on behalf of NOAA, because I understand that NOAA was closed on the Big Island, and also on behalf of HUD, because the property that I live in is a HUD property, and we were to have an inspection. And no one came, and no one called, and no one rescheduled. So I hope you can help us with some of these important agencies that protect all of us. And thank you for your efforts.
Mahalo. I'll share the message.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the public here in person? Okay, we'll go to online. Casey, I see your hand up. Please proceed.
Thank you, Makana, and please thank Senator. I know he was advocating hard for film and TV, even though the Hawaii State House killed the bill. But with when he's going to Washington, since President Trump has put tariffs on film and TV, if there's any way we could bring back our film and TV jobs to Hawaii and grow them and grow that technology, that would be great. And the music that goes with them too. If that's a possibility, that's a great balance with growing ag here that he also does. And with ag, I just wanted to thank him for his support. If he could also look at, there's still only a substitute ag teacher at Kahuku. And we really need a full-time ag teacher. And again, in the pipeline to Windward Community College, we do not have Kahuku grad students going for aquaponics or any of those studies. And I'd also like to urge him to look at the new LIMU program at WCC, LIMU for food, for medicine, for cosmetics, animal feed, energy. We think this would be a great, sustainable Hawaiian, locally based industry to promote and to study, because Hawaiians have been in the forefront of studying limu or algae. And we'd like the senator to take a look at that and make sure that the the grants come from Washington for that. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you for those that Manao, and yeah, we're just trying to create better create some liaisons and better connection with DC so that we can give proper clarity to you folks in the community. So I'll echo that message to him. Mahalo.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have any other questions from members of the public online? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Makana. We look forward to seeing you next month.
Aloha. Malama pono.
Aloha. We're moving on in our agenda. I believe we have House Representative Sean Quinlan online. Sean, please proceed with your report.
Aloha, good evening. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So our community had a good year this year in regards to the state budget. We did get $5 million for Kahuku Medical Center and $2.5 million fiscal year 26 and 27 for much needed improvements. We also got $110,000 for Huio Haula for their efforts in kupuna care, food sustainability, digital literacy, and so forth. I mean, it's almost too many things to list, Dottie. You're doing a lot. God bless you. We were able to secure funds for iBounce Up, which is a olauloa-based nonprofit that teaches resiliency. And they do a lot of programs in our community, helping both children and adults, which I think is very important. We passed a lot of bills this session, but I have to say that the one I'm most proud of is HB 969, which I authored, which will ensure that no landfill is ever built in our community ever. And that is to protect not just our agricultural lands, but also our fresh drinking water that we are completely dependent upon for life on this island. So really just wanted to mahalo everyone on the board, community members, and the community associations, everybody who reached out to me personally or to my office this year to share their thoughts and to advocate for a lot of different things. And I also wanted to congratulate our constituent Wilson Unga on becoming a judge. So we're all very excited. That's my report. I'm sure I could go on forever. A lot of great things happened. Biosecurity. We are going to add 40 some odd positions to the Department of Agriculture to fight CRB, coconut rhinoceros beetle. My backyard is infested, as well as little fire ants. So I can't promise you that it will be enough, but I can promise you that we're doing everything in our power. And I am now available for any questions.
Thank you. Questions from board members?
Hi, Sean. Thank you so much for everything you do. I know we've had this conversation over the years about the possibility of getting a standalone public library for Kahuku and our neighboring communities. I know it's a little bit challenging because we do have to acquire land, and that makes it a little bit more difficult, but is there any way we could explore that option and perhaps work with the city and county in acquiring land that they do have, because they do have a little less than an acre by Kahuku Medical Center. So perhaps we can maybe have some initial conversations and start exploring that option for our communities. That will really help the literacy and yes.
I think that's a great idea. And I know, Sonny, we were on the Zoom the other day with DOT and we're going to improve the bike path. So I think once those bike path improvements go in and we have a guaranteed safe route for the kids to get from the high school down to the medical center, and we're all comfortable with it from a traffic standpoint, then yeah, I think it's about time. I still have a few things to finish up. I mean, there's a limited pot of money that I can pull from every year for the community. Oh, Gov just released. Hi, Max. Okay. There's the Gov just released another 2.5-3 million that I'd appropriated last year for the high school. We want to finish up those visitors bleachers so that we can host playoff games. And I still need to replace the field lights and a couple other small things. But once we get done with all that, then there will be more money available for other projects. And of course, the medical center is always going to be top of mind because due to a lot of factors that are out of the control of the medical center, they're going to continue to need support from both the CIP and operating budget of the state for the foreseeable future. But what we cannot afford is to have it reduce services or heaven forbid, be in real financial trouble.
Thank you. Questions from other board members here in person? Okay, we'll go to members of the public here in person. Okay, members of the public online. Casey, I see your hand up. Please proceed.
Thanks, Sean. Love that you're protecting the aquifer and biosecurity. Thank you for your 2 a.m. stays at the Capitol. And it was really good for me to hear you on Civil Beat because now I understand I'm pushing, as you know, for film and TV. And I see that the problems when you talked about a net revenue generator, and it is a net revenue generator. I think that I'll try to work with Civil Beat to be able to explain that. Is there any way we can get more information on the tourism? There's a lot of unfunded liabilities, hidden costs, and diminishing returns. A lot of things that are not counted as the taxpayer funds that goes to the tourism industry. It's just normal, quote unquote, for years and years. And we really need these higher paying jobs so our community can stay here because again and again, people are leaving this side and it's either illegal vacation rentals, a couple of retirees, or just packed homes. Thank you if you have any more suggestions on how to diversify the economy on this side with higher income jobs. Mahalo.
Okay, so I think we have some misconceptions. So just to be very clear, I'm very open to increasing the cap amount of the film tax credit. It's been a long time since we did. And in fact, I was the one that extended the film tax credit for 7 years until 2034, which was a $350 million over 7 years outlay from the state of Hawaii, a guarantee that film industry could continue and continue to do business here. But at the end of the day, this is your guys' money. You guys are paying taxes, right? And my job is to make sure that every dollar we spend is justifiable and we have good numbers and we have good data analysis. And I really just haven't seen a robust data analysis of what the film tax credit is bringing back in terms of revenue. Yes, could we count the prospective value of visitors seeing Moana or Lilo and Stitch and saying, hey, honey, it's time to go to Hawaii? Absolutely. But we still have to quantify that. So I think we need to take a deeper dive into all that to make sure that the $50 million that we spend every year is being well spent. But like you, I absolutely see the value in these jobs. And, as somebody who personally, I did not graduate from high school. I got a GED. So, the fact that somebody without a college degree can work on a film set because they have a particular set of skills and make enough money to one day purchase a home here is very special and important to me.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. We'll do the online and we'll come back. How's that? Jacob, I see your hand up. Jacob, please proceed with your question. You're unmuted, Jacob, but we can't hear you. Oh, I don't think we can hear you, Jacob, but if you can type your question into the chat or your comment, then I can read that.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Perfect.
Okay, since everybody mostly works to town or go shopping in town, do you know if the road construction in Haleiwa, is that still night construction or are they going to change towards day construction?
Oh, sorry, there's so much road construction happening right now. Where exactly?
The road repavement, because they used to be started in Waimea, but they moved towards the end towards the circle roundabout by Haleiwa by the bypass road.
I just got an email from them. Oh my gosh, sorry. Let me come back with the answer. I will email it to Board Chair Metonga, because I don't want to be. Oh, they're going to seek community input for overnight road work in Haleiwa. And there will be a meeting on May 15th at the elementary school cafeteria in Wailua, May 15th at 6:30. So if you have strong feelings one way or the other, please come to the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions from members of the public online? Okay, we'll go back to in person.
Hi, Sean, it's Evelyn Lane.
Hello.
Hi, it's good to see you. I attended the bike path meeting a couple of, I think it was last week. I can't remember, all the meetings starting to run together. But it was interesting at the mayor's meeting to hear so many people come and complain about the school, the high school, and the construction and the school lunches, which was really emphasized by a young lady who came and testified, a child, which was really kind of hit me in the heart to think that these kids are having such a hard time with their food when we live so close to all this agriculture. So if there's things that we could do at the state level, that would be really great for next year. Thank you.
So we did a couple of things this year. One is that we're going to be paying for, on an income qualified basis, we're going to be making sure that all the kids who income qualify will get free school lunches. Now, they may not like the lunches very much, but at least they won't have to pay for them if they're below the income threshold. The other thing we did is we made big changes to our procurement system. So when you're trying to do farm to table in a school, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you're dealing with hundreds of vendors, right? You know, this person grows strawberries, this person grows tomatoes, and it got to be a little cumbersome. So we're exempting procurements that are under $250,000 from some of these requirements to try and speed up the process so that we can be a little more agile. And the goal is 30% locally purchased ag products in every school meal by 2030. Now, 30% sounds like a low number, and 2030 is only 5 years away, but it's going to take a lot of work just to get us there. And I remember, maybe about 8. Hello, darling. I'm doing the thing. Thank you. I remember about, probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when under the Obama administration, there was this huge effort to make school lunches healthier. And we all thought, geez, that's a great idea. Of course, we want kids to be eating healthier food. But the way we rolled it out, it just meant more vegetables that kids didn't really want to eat. So we actually saw a decline in the number of school lunches that were being eaten. And what I heard from educators and administrators was that, the kids were going to 7-Eleven and just eating potato chips and stuff because they didn't like the school lunch. So how to strike that balance between something that's healthy and that the kids actually want to eat and isn't going to break the bank and also supports our ag sector. That's those 4 things have to intersect. So that was a long answer to we're trying very hard, and I don't know if we'll get there, but we're going to try.
I just have a comment that I wanted to add. I do have 3 children in the DOE, and their school lunches are horrible. If we could start out by fresh fruit, or even salads. The salads that come out are very soggy all the time, so it doesn't really encourage Keiki to eat. But anyways, I did see a couple years back, something about starting a pilot program for a school to do a farm to table type of school lunch. And I thought to myself, Kahuku would be a great place to start because we have so many agricultural production happening in our neighborhood. So is there any way we could partner up with our farmers that literally farm next door to get fresh fruits or produces and things like that? Because, we do have a higher obesity rate with our keiki, and, healthy food and exposure and all of that is really, really important. So I'm wondering if we could explore some of those options. I can't recall what that program was. It was a while back, but I was trying to encourage our principal back then to see if the school can sign up or, volunteer. But maybe that could be something we could explore and see if partnering with local farmers within the school area could help boost not only the farmers and the economy, local economy, but also our healthy school lunches for our keiki.
No, I think it's a great idea. And, one of the big goals of this is, okay, if we're spending all this state money to purchase food, why wouldn't we purchase it directly from our own farmers? And then it's a win-win. So absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sean, I'd like to invite you. I work for an organization in Kalihi called Kokua Kalihi Valley. We have a really robust food hub that is starting at this point a farm to school program, but has been doing intergenerational work about cultural foods that have been fairly successful in getting kids to like eating them. And I wonder if a more robust engagement approach with the families and the cafeteria workers and the faculty, that's more than just providing different foods in the cafeteria, but that is more about the story of foods and some of the ancestral traditions that are more sustaining for these families. So I'm sure you actually are maybe very familiar with this stuff, but you have a standing invitation to come to Kokua Kalihi Valley.
That would be great. If you could just shoot me an email or just, Pane has my cell phone number. I'll just tell you now, it's 388-2823. So just 388, sorry, I can see you with the pen, 388-2823. Just shoot me a text or give me a call and I'll find some time this interim to come down and check it out.
Okay.
Hey, are those potato chips?
If
Are
they
you
are,
eating chocolate
share.
cereal? It's
Share.
It's 7:30 at night.
Sean,
It's healthy. It's diet.
Sorry.
Sean,
We're having our own problems in this house with healthy food.
if it's potato chips, share. Sean,
Okay.
isn't one of the problems the fact that not every school has a cooking kitchen? Isn't it true that in order for this to really work, almost every school would have to have its own kitchen? Because my understanding is there's one school that has a kitchen and they prepare the meals and then they bus it. Then it's transported to the other schools, correct?
Yes, that is part of the problem. So we had looked into, and not we, this is before I came in, but years ago they looked into, every school is going to have its own fully featured, fully fledged kitchen. And that was really not just cost prohibitive, but space prohibitive. So we appropriated $70-ish million this year to the Whitmore Central Kitchen. That's the Wahiawa Whitmore area, where we're trying to build out a facility to prove that central kitchen model. And it would actually be cheaper than building kitchens in all the different schools. So I'm hoping that project will get underway sometime in the next couple of years.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from members of the public here in person? Online? Okay, thank you very much, Sean, for your report. Look forward to seeing you next month.
Thanks, you guys. Model.
You. Okay, moving forward in our agenda, we're now to the presentation portion. Special management area permit. This is for 53414 Kamehameha Highway in Hauula. Presenter is Gabby. I don't see her online. Okay. Gabby, are you online? Well, that's interesting. We'll move forward in our presentations. Well, next up, we have OHA. Introduction, mission, engagement at neighborhood board community meetings. The Mana i Mauli Ola strategy plan. Presenter will be Kuike. Sorry if I got that wrong, but please proceed. You have 8 minutes, but since we have one less presentation, we have some leeway. Thank you.
Aloha no. I am not Kuike, however, I am Kalea Kaka. I'm honored to serve as your Oha Oahu trustee, but I wanted to say mahalo to the chair as well as the members of the Olauloa Neighborhood Board for welcoming the Office of Foreign Affairs to share with you, and mahalo you as well for opening the doors so that we can have an open line of communication so that we too, like what you do, are able to stay on the pulse of the needs and concerns of our community and seeing what's working, what's not working, and how we can best collaborate together. I also wanted to share who else from OHA is here. Part of my Akaka team is Mark Watanabe, as well as Nathan Takeuchi. So just a bit of history on the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We were created in 1978, and our mission remains the same, which is to better the conditions of our Native Hawaiian people. And this is in alignment also with our strategic plan, which is the Mana I Maoli Ola strategic plan. And we have the pillars and directions of economic resiliency, education, housing, and health. And much of what we do is in advocacy. So that is at a county, a state, and a federal level. As we all know, we just came to the ending of the state legislative open session. And much of what we do is in monitoring the bills and providing testimony, whether we support or we are in opposition, or if we want to provide comments if these bills receive hearings. And so I also wanted to share some of the what we do and how we're created and the line of work that we do. So we have 3 committees. We have committees that meet on generally on the first and third Wednesday of each month. And then we have our Board of Trustee meetings on every first and third Thursday of every month, depending on what's going on. So our committees are the Beneficiary Advocacy and Empowerment Committee, and that committee, much of that is regarding advocacy and community concerns and so forth. And then we have our Budget and Finance Committee, which it's just that it's regarding our budget and so forth. And then we have our Investments and Land Management, which is regarding our investments, our Native Hawaiian Trust Fund, as well as our land portfolio. So these consist of legacy lands as well as lands that are there for us to create economic benefit for our Native Hawaiian people. But I do welcome you all to join us, whether it's virtually or in person. If you have community concerns that you want to share with the board, we have you can join us in person at our Nalama Kukui headquarters, our boardroom that we meet there, and also join us online at oha.org/livestream. I also wanted to share with you that we have informational mail that was kindly passed out by Mark earlier to share with you. Some of what we have shared with you is this pamphlet here called What OHA Does. So it gives the breadth of some of the history of OHA, what we do, as well as the latest issue of our Kawai Ola. And this is distributed out to the community. And it's an award-winning publication that we do at no cost to the recipients. We also provided the OHA quarterly updates, as well as a nice coloring book for the keiki. This is called Owai o OHA, which addresses who is OHA, and also known as Ola Ka'i. And this was created so the keiki and the ohana can learn more about what we do. And it's so nicely written maku'olelo, makuahine in our mother tongue. Also, we have our 2024 Office of Hawaiian Affairs annual report. And lastly, something exciting to share with you all is we, like many organizations and state government offices, we are actively hiring. So if anyone here is interested, has any ohana or friends, community members that you know that would be good qualifying people to fill these positions, please do apply. We also, to note, have a 5,000 signing bonus. So a bit of an incentive to inquire, and you can learn more about that if you go on to our oha.org. And also with our social media, we are present on Instagram and also on Facebook for additional information. And I wanted to leave time open if you folks have any manao or questions, concerns that I might be able to answer now or sometime later.
Questions from board members? Sure, we'll go to Dr. Tusi and then over to Lauren.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Could you please repeat your vision statement?
Okay.
And also you mentioned 4 pillars. I'm sorry.
Yes, happy
Kind of hard
to.
of hearing.
Ole pilikia, Anakala. So our mission is to better the conditions of our Native Hawaiian people. As we are familiar of the history of our Native Hawaiian people, much of how we are funded is because we have what is known as public lands, but in reality, these lands come from our Hawaiian people. These are Native Hawaiian Crown and government lands of our Hawaiian Kingdom, also known as the public land trust. So some of our revenue that we receive is from these lands. So that is part of our advocacy, as we are constitutionally mandated to receive 20% of the proceeds and revenues from these lands. However, in our audits and in the collection of the reports by the various entities that are on these lands that are, let's say, managed by DLNR and so forth, UH, we have unfortunately found that it's on an honor system, and those entities are putting into that as they see fit. So the state therefore is not getting the full amount that they should, which in turn means that our Hawaiian people are not getting the full amount that we should. So just to kind of give you some perspective as well, in the years of Linda Lingo, when she served as our governor, we had a cap of about 12 some $million. And then through time, we worked really hard to lift that cap. I'm sorry, it was 15.1 million. Yes, so 15.1 million. And since then we worked really hard to lift that cap, and we were able to raise it up to 21.5. But just to give you the stark difference in where we should really be at, or at least according to the reports that we have been able to review, is closer to at least 79 million if you include inflation, and even if you don't include inflation current day. But in reality, we should be receiving so much more, as we know the entities that are on these lands are not paying the amount that they should for fair market value, including military. So that is something that we are constantly advocating on a county, state, and federal level. And part of that advocacy is to share and gently and sometimes firmly remind other government entities that it's constitutionally mandated that when it comes to these ceded lands, our Native Hawaiian Crown and government lands, when it comes to anything, whether it is a landfill that they're proposing or a temporary landfill after what happened in Lahaina on Maui, which is ceded lands, or anything where their state is trying to sell lands that are ceded lands, we as the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, we are required by law, they are required by law to consult with us so that we can properly advocate for our Native Hawaiian people and the community. But also to answer the second part of your question regarding our strategic plan, Mana'i Maliola, it's regarding economic resiliency, education, health, and housing.
Thank you.
Lorraine?
I just wanted to commend you. I actually have Hawaiian son-in-laws and 10 more opuna so I care very much. And I actually read your publication every month.
Mahalo.
And it is
Thank you for sharing.
very well done.
Thank
and
you.
It really talks environmental issues.
Yes, this issue in
that
particular.
we really need to be aware of. Everybody should be aware of, because everybody should be a steward of the land if you're here. And so I just wanted to mahalo and tell you that it's informative and good. And
Oh, mahalo Anui, and I'll take that back to the Office of Wine Affairs and share that as well. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I have a question. I know there's a lot of conversation about deep sea mining, which I've also seen in your article.
Yes.
And currently with military land lease renewal. Does OHA take any positions on that? Or I was just curious.
Yeah, so we have had a trustee or more specifically advocate regarding sea mining, and we also share on our social media of our concerns of that. Part of our advocacy as well is regarding what I had mentioned, the ceded lands. So I don't like the term public land trust because I think the genesis gets lost along the ways in terms of these are Hawaiian lands. And we also talk about what is submerged lands and the circumference that goes beyond our shores that is really the jurisdiction of our Hawaiian people. So that goes hand in hand in terms of the minerals that technically belong to our Hawaiian islands and our Hawaiian people. So I think it's safe to say that we have our strong concerns and we're not necessarily for it. But can you remind me again what your other question was?
On those specific issues, whether it be environmental or military usage.
We absolutely do. We absolutely do. So we have a group created within the Office of Wine Affairs that we voted as a board on specifically regarding military use of our ceded lands and the leases that are coming up. And I believe tomorrow or Friday, there's going to be a meeting with the BLNR. So OHA is certainly providing testimony and our strong concerns regarding that because I think we're all familiar with the sacredness of these lands and why these lands, what they were designated for many years ago. However, they're not necessarily being stewarded as so. And we have to look back at how we can best steward these lands properly to give the land dignity and to be able to take care of our Native Hawaiian people, because when we uplift our Hawaiian people, everyone wins, right? So that is a concern of ours, and it's a constant topic that we discuss. And I'm looking forward to seeing how things go tomorrow. Yeah.
Before we get to the public, can you talk about Kaka'ako Makai and the reason for that?
Yes. Okay. So some history on Kaka'ako Makai. So in 2012, that land was conveyed over to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs in lieu of the millions, I would say billions, that are owed to our Native Hawaiian people, because that cap that I had discussed earlier, that $15 million cap, that was to be in lieu of what should be going to the Hawaiian people. And at that time, the state was what's called a cash poor. So they decided to convey these lands to us. However, at that time, promises were made, conditions were put forth. However, that never happened, unfortunately. We do have pala documents to say otherwise, but it's really at the will of the legislature and our government to support that. But that also brings me to the point that whatever we do, whether we're testifying at the legislature, at the county, or federally, we really could use the voices of our people and those that have the aloha for our Hawaiian people and for our community as a whole to kokua us so that we can receive the funding that is needed that really should be going to us so that we can put that into our community. So fast forwarding through time with Kaka'ako Makai, we've looked at different ways on how which we can properly develop it, where it can be a live, work, play environment that is best for our Native Hawaiian people, our community as a whole, as well as to welcome Malihini. So let's just say timing and leadership have not been favorable with with Kaka'ako Makai. And since then, a leadership has changed, many new faces, some remain the same at the legislature. However, it's the will of the legislature, and it also helps to have our community support us.
All right, so we have actually Board Member Atalina. Oh, okay, we'll go back to Dr. Tusi and then we'll go to Board Member Atalina online.
Thank you. The purpose of my earlier question is.
Oh, cool. I don't know if the microphone is on.
Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. The purpose of my previous question was to what extent does the stewardship, the traditional, as well as the spiritual stewardship of Hawaii, of the Hawaiian culture and heritage extend from the land to the sea bottoms? Right now, there's a huge issue regarding sea bottom mining. And I just came back last week from a national organization of rising voices, indigenous universities from all over the world. What most people don't realize is that up to 80% of the oxygen on the earth comes from the ocean. And the balance comes from the force, the world. So essentially, we are talking about the lungs of the earth. If you harm either one, you harm all life on earth. And I was very pleased to understand that OHA is taking a stand in the preservation, protection, and the sacredness of the lungs of the earth. So mahalo, continue, and hopefully it will continue to inspire the entire world, not just Pacific. So thank you.
Mahalo nui anakala. That also reminds me of part of our work in our stewardship is regarding Papahana Mokuakea. So that remains the same, and we advocate, and that's part of what we do in terms of stewarding our aina, and with understanding that the aina is our ohana, and that we must malama the aina so it can malama us, as well as our surrounding waters. Mahalo.
Okay, Board Member Atalina online, please go ahead.
Aloha and mahalo. Aloha for all of the amazing work that you folks are doing. I just had one question. The Native Hawaiian Housing Block Grant, this funding was part of the Native Indian funding and managed through DHHL. This funding was zeroed out in the latest round of cuts to the budget. And I was just wondering, what are the impacts of this budget cut? And then how can we help to advocate for funding with our representatives and our elected officials?
Mahalo. So I was just that was brought to my attention pretty recently, and well, I would have to be able to discuss this more with our board to have a better understanding and how we can best advocate. And I think that that's an opportunity for us to further collaborate with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. What I can share with you is what we do annually is provide up to $3 million to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands to kokua them, and that we have that under contract for the next so many years. But I think there is much room for us to have open discussions with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands so that we can pair up as we can, and we also discussed with them some of the options on how we can collaborate regarding our Kaka'ako Makai property, and we also have our Nalama Kukui property that our offices are at, and looking at how we might develop that over time, and the neighboring property that we have acquired since as well. But that's something that I'm interested in learning more about. But to further answer that question, with what's happening in our federal government and the rapidness and the uncertainties, and how that's affecting our communities, we are experiencing at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, where we have hula, we have schools, we have students, with various community members that are very concerned and that they are looking to us to see how we can advocate for them and how we might be able to fill in the gaps where there's uncertainty with their funding. I also talked to Uncle Larry Kimura, who is, I would say, one of the foundations and pillars of our Native Hawaiian language, our olauloa makuahine, and asking them, what does that mean for their ahapuna leo? What does that mean for their Hawaiian language programs? And the response there was that it's where they have federal grants that they're using or still using, but after that, things have yet to be figured out. But I think with the housing, that again, that's something that is one of our directions at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and we stay vigilant on how we can best advocate and how we can, within our means and our abilities, help our Hawaiian people have, and this was mentioned just a couple of nights at the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board. The term affordable might not necessarily be the best term to be used, but what is attainable for our Native Hawaiian people? What is attainable for our community as a whole? That's what the wording that perhaps we should focus on, because what's affordable to us, maybe that's a very different price point from somebody that might have a part-time home here. So that remains something that is a focus of ours. And again, we need kokua from our community to be able to have the proper funding from our Native Hawaiian Crown and government lands from the state to be able to do more for our community.
Thank you. Any other questions from board members? Or move on to the public? Okay, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Lane. I live in Kahuku, and I have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask. If your strategic program could be of service to this areas. One is Kahuku Town, which is booming with business and needs infrastructure and guidance and cultural direction to make it a livable and help our business people be able to conform to the rules so that we'll all safe because of things like the Maui fire. My second question is, would you be someone who could advocate on behalf of endangered species for an environmental impact statement for Turtle Bay, which is the largest resort by acres along the shoreline? And for some reason, we're not able to get an environmental impact statement no matter what we seem to do.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I heard the question correct, the first one. So you're talking about Kahuku, the town area, and the businesses there?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, can you elaborate more on that?
There's since the pandemic, we've had the sugar mill area is always been in the process of trying to redevelop, which we all want to see redevelopment, but we need some guidance, we need some support, and we need some infrastructure, and we need to have some cultural direction. And I'm wondering how much your department of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs could be of assistance to our community in that way.
Mahalo, we do have a newly formed cultural team, or a team person. And if there are Native Hawaiian businesses there that are perhaps in need where we can help, we do have something called the Malama loans. So Native Hawaiian businesses that qualify. We've had some really awesome success stories where those that are nearing bankruptcy, that are charging credit upon credit, maxing out, they found OHA as a sanctuary in that sense, where they're able to thrive in their businesses. And I'm so happy that we provide that. And we provide many more things in that. We have our Mahi'ai program as well. And to touch on that as well for Native Hawaiian businesses, and going back to the question regarding Kaka'akamakai, part of our plan with Kaka'akamakai is to provide an environment, live, work, play environment where we have our Native Hawaiian businesses that are housed there, where we have a place where there's care for Keiki Tukupuna. So that's part of our plan, to have like a more holistic approach to building our community. And your second question was regarding Turtle Bay. Okay. I'd be happy to talk more about that with you after this. That's not something that has been brought to my attention in recent years. But we do advocate regarding various things when it comes to indigenous plants and when it comes to our indigenous, let's say, birds and animals. And I don't recall that coming too light recently, maybe, but I did make sure that in tracking the with the rhinoceros beetle that we made sure to have testimony regarding that, because we acknowledge that the new plant is something that it's an endemic plant that we have here, and the vitality of making sure that that plant is thriving and that we have the proper attention by the Department of Agriculture on that. Because what I learned last night in the presentation regarding the rhinoceros beetle in the see, where were we? Kalani Iki. Yeah, in the Ainahaina area. But the presentation was regarding the rhinoceros beetle and their concerns there as well. So I had also shared that we have provided testimony to make sure that the NIU are cared for as they need to be, and that if there continues to be a strong concern, that they certainly should seek out the attention of Sharon Hurd and the Department of Agriculture so that they feel more empowered to get the funding and do what they have to do. Kalamai, so that was the Kuli O'o Kalani'iki neighborhood board meeting that we were at last night.
My last question is, when you go and advocate on behalf of preserving as much, getting money from the military, I guess, for the lands, could you please ask that they put in a road, they fix up the road and make it accessible, drum road behind, that runs back behind here and all the way up to Wahiwa, so that we can have an escape route if we need it?
Okay, so I just want to make sure I have that correct. So that's a roadway in this area that is not in the best shape.
It's part of the village. It's a part of the Kahuku training area, but it has been used by the public in the past, and I think it should be reopened for the event of natural disasters.
Okay, well, do you happen to know if that's part of an EIS as well, in terms of escaping for emergencies? It's not?
No, but
okay, thank you for sharing that. I can take that back to the board and administration.
Perfect. Other questions from members of the public in person? Okay, we'll go online. Casey, I see your hand up. Please proceed. Oh, sorry. Hang on, Casey.
Aloha, Ben Schaefer. I just wanted to point out, when this new administration came on, the very next month, the first thing that was plastered on the newsletter was all their finances, all out in the open. That's how you can tell that somebody wants to change things, because they put them right up front. And we're also working with the OHA on changing over to Office of Hawaiian Affairs stuff instead of being on the DLNR. And some other groups are doing that too. Thank you.
Mahalo for your work that you do for people too.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to online. Casey, I see your hand up, and then we'll go to Catherine's thing in the chat. Go ahead.
Mahalo, and I just wanted to make sure that you are fully aware, and I was hoping Ben would bring it up, that both Ben and Senator Awa had said how rapidly, and we all see it, the decline of Hawaiians in olauloa has been. And Hawaiian families have been pushed and priced out, and they have been the worst affected. Before COVID, I had the honor of always testifying against the Airbnbs and the illegal vacation rentals with Deja Ostrowski, who then worked for OHA as policy planner, and she had shown how the Hawaiians were the worst affected by Airbnb. And then I would come in with my testimony that 20 of my students in Kahuku, Haula, and their families, and the families worked, were homeless, were pushed into homelessness. And a lot of them, of course, have moved away and moved off island. And I would love to see that that her work seems to reinvigorate it and look at the Airbnbs and who are they actually hurting? Who are they pushing out? Yes, we do have some wealthier Hawaiians that do rent out rooms, but most no. It's working class and pushed and priced out. And the second thing is more positive is with education. Before, when I got a grant for film and TV at Kahuku, our students just flourished. They, especially our Hawaiian students, they won top awards with broken equipment because, as you know, Hawaiian students, they're kinetic learners, hands-on learners, work well in teams, understand performance. So with broken equipment, they were winning top awards. And again, I think our Rep. Sean Quinlan is out. We had students that were in the lower learning skills, quote unquote, dumb. They would go home and write a whole soundtrack for a video, or they would write the music for the videos and perform it. And that's one of the reasons they would win the top awards. And or we would finally give them a GoPro, and then they would stop skipping science class because they could film all their fish in Limu. But so is there any looking at the education, how well Hawaiian students do with a different approach with this film, TV, music, and they end up top awards because the 20th century literacy is digital literacy, and Hawaiians, that fits the gifts and talents of the culture. And so I didn't know if OHA, how seriously it's looking into that, because just the small things I've seen, wow, especially Hawaiian Polynesian students did really, really well. So those are the two things, the housing with the Airbnbs and how devastating it has been to Hawaiians, and if anyone has picked up Deja's work. And the second thing is to looking at the film, TV, and music and how that invigorates the young people. And we hope to get more and more people into college with this kind of awards. And it's not a traditional book learning that, from the mainland style education. So mahalo for that. And any thoughts you have.
Mahalo for that Manao shared. So kind of some points to touch regarding our Native Hawaiian people. The census has shown that most of our Hawaiian people do not reside within our Hawaiian islands, but beyond the shores of our islands here. And we have to make it where our people are able to return home if they so choose to, and for them to have good jobs to return to. That meets the cost of living here, to own a home or to rent a home. And that falls in line with our strategic plan and how we can best prepare our Native Hawaiian people to return home as we can. But of course, I think this is a kako effort from a county, state, and federal level. And when it comes to the housing situation, I believe that's something that has to do with enforcement. So you can create a law, but if it's not enforced properly, then poho, right? So we need to have it where our various levels of government are able to work together and have it where we're in communication with these various entities that are being able to rent these properties, and have it where our people are able to have their residences as well, but not be punished for having their residences, because as many of us have grown up, there's more than one child in our family. So you have your ancestral homes, you have your ancestral lands, and you're not trying to sell it and be penalized for that. But this is a topic of conversation that's always happening in terms of what makes sense for our people in our island community, that there's that fine balance that we have to create and live by. And regarding your mana'o regarding education and culture and arts, that is something that is a part of what we represent at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And we often are meeting in our budget and finance meetings regarding our the sponsorships that come in that qualify and they're rated based on various different qualifications. And we as a board, we decide in community whether we want to pass that action item or not. And then it is ratified in our Board of Trustees meeting. So much of what we have sponsored on a yearly level and also recently is things like Merry Monarch and music festivals and things regarding spirituality. So there's many different points that we're trying to meet in terms of how can we uplift a beloved nation, but it comes to providing all these various things under a wide OHA umbrella.
Thank you. I do have one, well, not a question, more of a comment, but I do hope that OHA is firmly involved in the lease renewal negotiations, which I believe you are, for tomorrow's DLNR hearing for Pohakuloa. Is that correct?
Aye, that is correct.
Okay, got it. All right, is there any other questions from members of the public here in person or online? Oh,
Does OHA ever come out to community-wide events and share information? We'd like
Yes.
to invite you for June 7th, Saturday. If you could join us as a partner at the Resilience Park on Homestead Road. And it's from 9 to 1:30. So I can send you more information about
Thank
it.
you so much. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for including us. Yes, we do participate in various events. We do try to attend those events that we sponsor. We're invited to as we can. There's 9 trustees that we have. Some are island trustees, some are at-large trustees, and we try to have presence in the community. And part of us coming before you in these neighborhood board meetings is to be able to build on this pilina, this relationship, so that we can work with one another and that we can be in tune with one another. And again, I invite you all, if there's certain concerns that you feel is something that should be brought to the attention of the Office of Wine Affairs, please join us virtually or in person, because it helps us be able to make the decisions that we need to and be able to stand firm on that when it comes to our constituents and our beneficiaries. So when we have testifiers, we appreciate when they have mana'o that is helpful to the action item that is before us to give us food for thought. But thank you. I'll after this want to get that information more pa'a from you. Thank you.
any other questions from board members, members of the public, online or in person? All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here.
Mahalo for inviting us. We look forward to the next one.
Perfect. Should I just schedule you guys in on the agenda as permanent?
Yes, thank you for asking. One of the community members yesterday at the Kuli'o'o Kalani'iki neighborhood board, actually she's a board member. She had recommended that, hey, maybe you folks can fall under government reports, and where maybe we could have 2 minutes or so to provide announcements, whether it's in person or virtually, on what we're up to or what might be of interest to you, and maybe you can give us some feedback if there's any Q&A. But I think that would be a nice opportunity for us to continue the conversation.
Perfect.
Thank
All right,
you.
look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll just add it to the agenda. We don't need to. I'll just add it on and make sure it's a. Yeah.
Mahalo. And I will share this with the board and administration that I'm getting this feedback from the various boards of the interest in having us normally. So originally we were looking at doing this quarterly. We're trying to find a sustainable way between administration and me as a trustee being able to be present at these. So whether it's virtually or in person, we're looking at quarterly or possibly monthly. Thank you.
Yeah, we're monthly. And we can do it hybrid, so.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on in our presentation, our Community Healing, Health and Happiness, CH3, presenter Branch Nautu.
I hate public speaking. I get really stage fright, but I'll try my best. Talafalava and good evening. My name is Branch Nautsu, and I'm here to share with you a little bit about our 501c3 nonprofit organization called Community Healing, Health, and Happiness, otherwise known as CH3. We are a health organization rooted in healing first as the foundation of our work. Jokingly, I say, I'm just looking for a broken body. But I was scolded by my board and said, Branch, that's exclusive. So what they want me to say is that we're looking for bodies that are ready to heal, which is more inclusive. So what I need, not where I was, what I need, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys a little of our work that we do in hopes of earning a partnership with you, the Neighborhood Community Board, and any other organizations that are here, like OHA, so that we can help our community heal and get healthier. So what I need you to do is need for you guys to stand up in order for you to experience. A lot of you, I've been to the LCA, I've been to the KCA, I've been to HCA. I've been trying to get a hold of the Punaluu Community Association and Ka'aba Community Association. It's been really hard to get a hold of them to share our work. And this is just going to take a few minutes. So what's an assessment? What's an assessment? Anybody? What? An evaluation, right? It's just a check-in, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do an assessment first. And our first assessment is that we're just going to bend over like so. And as you're bending over, you're assessing and just taking note of how the body feels, right? You're just checking in, being mindful. How does the body feel standing back up? Okay. And then we're going to do that one more time. Just being mindful of how your body is feeling and working, moving. All right, so now we're going to do the exercise. So what you're going to do first is you're just going to take your ear to your shoulder, to the other shoulder, the other shoulder. Try not to move your torso. It's just your head. About 10 times total, so 5 times each way. Right. Now the chin is going to go to the other shoulder. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to shake that up. Okay, so this next one, so is a half moon. Okay, think of a half moon. And what you're going to do with your head is you're going to draw a half moon. So watch first. It's going to go to my shoulder. It's going to roll forward to the other shoulder and back to the center. So the head's not turning. So watch me first. Okay, the head's going to drop to the side. It's going to roll to the other side and return back to the center. So half moon. You guys get it, right? Okay, so side, go to the opposite side, return back to the center, side, go to the other side, return back to the center, side, the other side, turn back to the center, side, the other side, turn back to the center, side, go to the other side, return back to center. Shake it out. And now this part is kind of funky, kind of weird. What you're trying to do is you're gonna tuck your chin. And when you tuck your chin back, you're gonna feel a stretch in the back of your neck. So it's gonna look like this. Okay. Right? You feel that stretch in the back of your neck? Right? Okay. And the head's gonna go forward now. Okay. So head is gonna go back. It's gonna go forward, and it's gonna glide downward to your sternum. And from there, it's gonna slide up back to the chin tuck. So watch, it's gonna look like this. Forward, down, slide back. Forward, down, slide back. Forward, down, slide back. Forward, down, slide back. Shake it out. Now we're gonna go opposite. Okay, you're gonna tuck, slide down, forward, and tuck. Slide down, forward, tuck, slide down, forward, tuck, slide down, forward, and tuck. Okay, let's shake that out. Now we're gonna reassess. So go ahead and bend over and see if you notice any difference. Did anybody notice the difference? Right? Yeah, ooh, they call me the salmon witch doctor. No, so here's another one. So this is, so that was nerve gliding or nerve flossing exercise that you can do. And I mean, you know, the shoulder bone is connected to the knee bone kind of type of deal. So this one is going to be a neurotraining exercise that we're going to actually do with our eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to assess our neck. Just going to turn your neck side to side. That's your assessment. And then now you're going to draw an H, but you have to watch. My fingers are going to be, my thumbs are going to be in the front of me. And I'm going to take one thumb out to the side, okay? But my eye has to track that. This thumb, this eye, is going to help remind me to keep my face forward. So do not turn your head, okay? It's done with your eye, okay? Once you feel a little bit of a strain right by your peripheral, that's where you stop, okay? And the thumb is going to go up. You're going to feel a little bit of a strain up there. And then you go down, a little bit of strain right there, back here, and return. Okay, so that's one side. Again, now we're gonna move the other thumb out to the side. Okay, my eye is straining in my peripheral vision, right? Don't turn your head. Then it's gonna go up, okay, back down, up, and return to the center. Okay, other arm right, up. Don't move your head, it's just your eyes. You're gonna feel a little bit of straining when you get to that point. So it's almost in your peripheral vision, but not quite because your eye has to still track that. Up, nice and slow, down, up, turn, right, up. Don't look at me. Look at your thumbs, down, up, return to the center, out to your left, up, down, up, turn, right side, out, nice and slow. Don't turn your head. It's your eye. Your eye follows your thumb. Okay? To the center, nice and slow, out, up, down, up, and return to the center. Shake it out, and then reassess your neck. See if, did anybody notice the difference? Yep. So fun things that we have in our arsenal to help the community. Last night we, oh, go ahead and have a seat. Thank you. Last night we had our first night of our this month's project called the RICE project. RICE, the acronym stands for Roots, Integration, Community Empowerment. So roots, because we're trying to get to the root issue of things. Like I said, our foundational work comes from healing first, right? So getting to the root issues. And if you think about our nonprofit's name, Community Healing, Health, and Happiness, everybody wants to be happy, right? Right? Right. And a lot of times that happiness has a hurdle or speed bump in the way that keeps us from being happy. And a lot of times that's something to do with our health, right? So if we can get healthy, a lot of times people try to get healthy so they can obtain that happiness. But sometimes in order for us to get healthy, there's something that's keeping us from getting healthy. And a lot of times that's trauma to the body, like an injury, such that I'm trying to get healthy, but my back hurts, my knee hurts, I have an issue with my shoulders, keeping me from getting healthy in order for me to obtain that health, happiness. And so that's why our foundation work is in healing first, to get healthier, become happier, and community. So those are our four pillars. Community, because if our work is done in a group setting, success rates, percentages increase for us to become successful in those things. That's community healing, health, and happiness. Like I was sharing last night, we had our first night of our rice project. We had about 35, a little bit over 35 people sign up. We had like 4 from Kauku. No, yeah, 4 from Kauku. We had 11 from Laie. We had about 6 from Hauula, 2 from Punalu'u, 1 from Ka'aba. We had about 35, but last minute, oh, Branch, I can't make it. I'm in the hospital with my auntie. She has cancer. Oh, Branch, death in the family. Oh, I thought it's for next month. Oh, I'm a judge at the Fire Knife. So people were canceling last minute. So we ended up with 24. We ended up with 24. It was an hour session. I showed them how to use a tool to help work on, it was a tension release workshop. And I showed them how to use the tool to release tension in their body so that the body could function better. If you function better, you have better performance. If you have better performance, you have better results. A lot of times that's what we're looking for is results. But if you don't perform as well as you need to, you don't have the results that you want. A lot of times it's because if you don't function well, right, you don't have the performance and the results. Just like government, right? If government doesn't function well, we don't have good performance. We don't have good performance, we don't have good results. So I know you guys understand that. Everyone who left that night was so happy. Everyone also got a compost bin for them to work on having a relationship with where their food actually comes from. And that was our food educational part. So in this project, we have one day where we do it's movement based or movement focused, and the other day is nutritional. What do they call it? Nutrition, cooking, and that was why we shared. Everyone got the compost bin. We also shared sauerkraut that night. But that night, everyone was so happy and excited. I can't wait for the next class. I've been telling all my friends and my family about it. So we're expecting more people, but our program needed to start with the same amount of people and try to hang on to the same people that first started. This morning, everyone was texting me back about how they had felt so great. They slept so well. My back doesn't hurt. I woke up and I felt like I could run a mile. And these are the kind of things that I want to help and bring to the community. So I think I had mentioned before, or I did mention before we started, that my first presentation was to the Laie Community Association, and I came here to Hauula Community Association. Then I went to Koku Community Association not too long ago. I talked to Pane. I was supposed to be on like long time ago. But the hardest part for me is just trying to get the word out to the community members. And this program is free, paid for by the Pelina grant. So I was very fortunate to earn a grant from them. And so I just need, like I said, broken bodies. Any questions?
Yes. So what is your background?
My background is I'm Samoan.
Not which doctor.
No, I was born and raised here, born and raised in Laie, went to school, Laie, graduated Koku, 95, graduated for life. And then I actually went to University of Hawaii on a scholarship. I partied too much and I lost that scholarship. And I went to California where I went to school at San Francisco State University for kinesiology. Ended up becoming a personal trainer. And so since 1999, I was working as a fitness professional in the health industry. So about 25 years, I've been in the health industry, just learning a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm not saying that, I know more than everyone, but because I've been exposed to many years in the industry, and I've been exposed to a lot more resources in the mainland, that I come home and I share things, and it's kind of like this, like, oh wow, how did that work? So my sons, they had they both had ACL surgery, and I have to go to the physical therapy appointments just to make sure that it's being done correctly. And not to say that they don't know what they're doing, but I'll record and videotape sometimes, and then we'll go home, and then I'll show them, okay, this is what I agree with, this is what I don't agree with. So my sons like really trust me. Dad, are you going to be at our workout? Dad, are you going to be at my physical therapy session? So a lot of times we can get almost instantaneous results like this, but because of in the medical world is really, really slow and progress is really slow. So, and also you can't do things that are not billable. Does that make sense? If I can't bill for this particular protocol, I can't use that. So that was my frustration in the fitness world, where I was a personal trainer, and I had this knowledge of doing hands-on work, but because I wasn't a certified licensed massage therapist, I couldn't really touch people, right? But quick example. I had a client, he had a knee problem, and he was like, oh, I can't do these exercises. Like, okay, here, jump on the table. So I always had a massage table at the gym so that I can do the body work. And it wasn't to do body work, it was just to get people to function better. So I threw him on the table, I worked on his groin, I worked on his hamstring. I said, okay, jump up. And he was like, oh, wow, and then he's like, oh, Branch, I haven't skied in like years. And, I went skiing because my knee feels better from the work that we've done. And that's kind of thing is that I want to help increase the quality of people's lives. If we're dealing every day with some sort of issue, right, then it's just back there kind of burdening us, and we're not really we're not really living our happy, healthy lives, right? And so that's kind of my goal. Just like I said, look for broken bodies to help those broken bodies heal.
For those who are interested, where do you meet? When do you meet? Do you have a website to sign up? How do we go about getting more information?
Yes. So if you go to communityh3.org, you can go to my testimonials page. You can see some of the stories. Like one time this lady was climbing a ladder, the absolvo ladder, and her foot got chopped off. And so she's been working with the therapist, and the therapist said, your body's just going to be like this for the rest of your life. Just then after an hour with her sharing the tool, she was like, oh my gosh, I can walk farther. I can move better. I can squat. And she reported to me, I'm getting up and down from the floor playing with my kids. So like, that's the kind of stories that I want to share. That's the kind of stuff that I want people to experience. If you go to the website, so unfortunately, there's not a lot of spaces. It's kind of funny to say that there's not a lot of spaces, but there are spaces, but it's hard to get into the spaces because everybody's trying to use the space. Someone finally told me, so most of the work I did at the parks. And a lot of times it was just me reaching out to the community. It's like I'm texting a whole bunch of people saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to have a tension release workshop on this day. And then I'll text like 100 people, and then like between 10 and 15 people show up either to a park or wherever the designated area was. A lot of times I did it at Hukila Park. I did it at a residence here in Laie. We did it in Punaluu. Did it in Sunset, Wailua, Haleiwa. But in order for you to know about this stuff, you just have to like reach me directly, because sometimes it's hard to find places to do it, because the people want to do it, but they really shame. Yeah, I don't want to do this in front of people. I'm kind of out of shape, so I want to do it in enclosed areas and spaces. So that's what we ended up doing last night. So I just learned that the community members can reserve the LDS chapel spaces for functions like this that are, if it aligns with the church's values. But of all the chapels that we have in Laie, Haula, and Kahuku, everyone was like booked. Everyone was booked, and then Luckily, my classmate,
Okay, so
yeah.
I see, I'm on your website, so you do have a contact page that people can
Yes.
write their information.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
Is there other questions from
So-
board members? I don't I want to get questions out. Any questions from board members? Questions from members of the community? Okay, I'll go online real quick. Questions from members of the community online. Okay, so we have I put your website in the chat, so we'll get that out to everyone here who wants to sign up. But
Awesome.
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, moving on in our agenda, we have committee reports. Board members, any committee reports?
Aloha, this is Sunny Unga. I'm pleased to report that we had our first meeting with Ed Sniffen and the DOT regarding the Kahuku shared path, which will be a ADA compliant pedestrian and bike path. And so they will be starting the design and funding June 2024. And starting in April 2025 to November 2025, they're going to begin the preliminary design and the environmental clearance. And then in November 2026 to August 2026, they're going to do the right-of-way acquisition. And so they're going to be working with the school, the BOE, and HECO to acquire some of the land to create the path. And then the bidding and the award is going to be going on in August 2026 to December 2026. And they're shooting for construction to begin December 2026 to December 2027. And if things move along faster, then they can expedite this project. But they're really looking forward to working with our community, which they did prioritize this project based on the numerous support that they received. So thank you so much, Olauloa Neighborhood Board, for submitting your letter in support of this project. So we should have more community meetings coming. So please come attend and share your input. So that's the Kahuku shared path. The second one is in regards to the Kahuku District Park pool and recreational center. We did have our last meeting last year. They are currently doing the testing, the technical studies required. I did get notification from the department that they are going to be having a follow-up meeting next month. So we'll keep you posted on that. And yes, they should be coming up with another draft plan based on the input that was received. And they're more likely, based on the input, going to be doing a covered court instead of a rec center based on the input. Any questions?
Certainly. Hi, I'm Dottie Kelly Paddock, and I'd like to report on behalf of the Emergency Preparedness and Resilience Committee. We do have an annual CERT training, Community Emergency Management Training, that will be September 13th and 27th and October 11th. It's a 3-day training. It's free and free lunches, and 2 days here at the community center and 1 day at Diamond Head, practicing the skills that we learned for emergency preparedness. And you get a CERT certification if you complete that and continue to work with the team. As a CERT team, you'll also get a CERT backpack with a lot of special emergency preparedness tools. So if you're interested, give us a call at 293-5000, and we'd love to add you to the CERT training. The second thing is I just want to remind people that we have hurricane season coming up. We do have an emergency food pod here in Hauula at the Resilience Hub site. And that food pod will be open, and the food will be distributed based on an approval by Department of Emergency Management at the city level, at least 4 days ahead of a hurricane. So if we do have or anticipate having a serious emergency, they will be letting us release that food, and it will be a regular lineup on Homestead Road and pick it up as you go by the park. The third thing I want to mention is that June 7th, Saturday, 9 to 1:30, we do have our emergency preparedness fair. It's part of our olauloa for 2025. We have that at the Resilience Park right down the road, and I hope everybody can come out. We're going to have Dub Brothers and a lot of great food vendors, as well as all of our partners here at the Hau'ula Community Center, and partners we didn't even know we had till the other day are coming out. So we're excited about that opportunity. And there will be emergency preparedness booths there, along with HAIMA and the Department of Emergency Management, and the fire station from Hau'ula will be there as well. So bring your kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. An update on the Resilience Hub. As you probably know, that we received 2024 earmark from Senator Schatz, Hirono, and Takuda. And we are today just found out that we are finally re-registered on the sam.gov site, and we're working into DRGR, and we're going to start releasing those funds to do more site work and more. We are going to build a traditional holly there for our cultural programming, and we're very excited about that. That will be our major project this summer. We're waiting for the final design and some HUD requirements. We have to work through those environmental issues, and we are also planning a year for permitting. It'll take a year to get the final permitting. So we hope to start the infrastructure, horizontal infrastructure development in 27, and then start the building construction in 28. Now, given all of that, our funding for our 2025 earmark was rescinded, and so we're not going to get that. So we lost $5.5 million, and our 2026 application for another earmark, Senator Schatz's office says we don't have much of a chance to get an earmark that year. So let's just hope we're going to find other funders. A friend of mine who's the head of the VOAD for Hawaii, he's at a convention, and he's going to be beating the bushes for us so that we can find more funding and get that Resilience Hub built, but it will be built. And last but not least, I just want to mention that we had a great presentation by Dylan Apollo, who's sitting right over there last night, just last night. And we had a great crowd here, and we're talking about Cam Highway. This is a very big issue for this community, especially from Ka'aava through Hau'ula. We know that in a major emergency, this road is going to be closed, and we are very, very vulnerable. There will be no food, no power, or water. After a day and a half, no water. So we have to be prepared. And please, everybody online, write that down, and everyone needs to get prepared. And please take advantage of all of these resources I'm sharing tonight, and please support our Resilience Hub. Thank you very much.
All right, other reports from board members? Okay, seeing none. And I don't see Adelina online. So, all right, this is our public announcements. Anyone have any public input or announcements? We have 2 minutes. Yeah, go right ahead, come up, use them.
Hello, aloha. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to announce that, I am running a survey as part of, the transportation survey to gather preferences So if you have it, share it with everyone. That really helps to provide feedback to the DOT and to our board members here regarding our transportation system and your preferences from the community. So thank you.
No question. Just announcements. All right. Any other announcements from members of the public in person? Okay.
Me.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Aloha, I just wanted to report two items. One is that Junior Permasio passed away, and the funeral was last week, Saturday. It was beautiful. He is one of the main pillars at Kahuku for years and years and years. Pickers are another one. I mean, they have all these old families that have been there and have been through everything, and so we're grateful for him. The other thing is that Oahu Island Burial Council, which I sit on, they found two more EV, one by TBR 3 and 4, the planned development, and then one by the runway. I guess either it was there before they put the runway, or somebody dug it up and put it back down after they put the runway. Anyway, they're going to be letting us know what's going to happen with those. So they've been put away for now, taken care of for now. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any other questions, announcements from members of the public here in person? Okay, going to online, Kevin, your hand's up. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes for your announcement.
Chair, thank you so much. My name is Kevin Lai. I'm the former chair of Neighborhood Board number 13, which covers the downtown Chinatown area. And I'm just here to speak tonight to the members of the public who are attending your board meeting tonight and to the board members as well. I've sent an email message to each of you who are listed on your respective web page that's run by the Neighborhood Commission office with a registered email to let you know about some of the irregularities with the current neighborhood board election that's going on. This impacts everyone on the island, if you're in a contested or non-contested race, or if you are just a voter, because what's happened is the Neighborhood Board Commission has generated ballots which do not follow the neighborhood plan. And this, again, impacts any of the candidates who are in contested races for neighborhood board positions and the voters who are seeking information, trying to decide about whom to vote. I've sent an email to each of you that details a letter that can be sent to the Neighborhood Commission office, to the Commission Chair Oshiro, and to some of the city officials who have oversight over the Neighborhood Commission. And I really encourage you to read that and consider it. I'll be posting into your chat here a URL which will point to that letter as well, so that members of the public can also express their concerns about the election process. This is a matter of principle. Again, some of the contests on the island are not contested, but when we have an election, we expect it to run as per the rules that we all have agreed to participate by. And when it doesn't, and when the city and county officials want to appear to sweep it under the rug and wait till after the fact if something else comes to light, that's the position that's being taken. I think we as citizens in a process such as this should not accept that. I'm happy to communicate with anyone outside of the meeting with some detailed information. But again, I encourage you to check your email inboxes after the meeting tonight and send that letter as a template to the appropriate folks. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, any other input or announcements from members of the public here online? Okay, hearing and seeing none, moving forward in our agenda. Approval of the Thursday, April 10th, 2025 drafted minutes. Board members, I'm assuming you've had a chance to review. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the April 10th meeting? Okay, motion to approve. Do I have a second? Any reservations? Opposition? Hearing and seeing none, chair votes aye. The minutes are adopted for the April 10th, 2025 meeting. Next announcements. The next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 12th, 2025, 6:30 p.m. here at the Hauula Community Center. And that will be the last meeting for this board. The new board will take over in August, I'm not mistaken, July. And so yes, that will be the last meeting. But with that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.